my name is Rirandzu Viola Madhlope, from South Africa. And the title of my book, and this is my second book, it's called Eat Your Cancer Away. And I wrote this book because I am traveling the journey also of being diagnosed with two primary cancers. And on my journey, I then decided I can share whatever I'm doing with other people out there. Hence the book, Eat Your Cancer Away. And it doesn't mean that when we say eat your cancer away, you have been cleared of cancer, but you're navigating through your life with the cancer while you are dealing with it in an airline industry.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen. And yes, today you have heard Ms. Viola say she is the author of Eat Your Cancer Away, Take Your Life Back. And she's always talking about holistic living, how to, she didn't say cure your cancer, but we're going to get into the conversation about what it is to have the diagnosis, the management, how a lot of this will start in your mind. I assume having a mother who had passed from this, but fought it a lot longer than the doctors thought she would. So this is a conversation that is dear to my heart because the conversation impacts so many people, men and women. So welcome to the show, Ms. Viola. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this time with you.
Thank you, thank you. And let's make it very clear because many people that I know are trying to cure their cancer or certain diseases, prostate for men especially. They don't want to have the exam. They don't, what happens after. But I think it's because they're scared of what they've seen others happen. So I think books like yours are necessary. Can you talk about is your book helping people manage their diet, their life, and their mind, or all of the above?
Karen, it's all of the above, because I think the first thing that a person needs to deal with is the mind. Most people sitting in front of an oncologist or a doctor, and they give you this phrase, unfortunately, we are telling you this now, you have got cancer. So those words that start with unfortunately, those are the scary words that people get. And that's what goes into your mind direct. Because what will be your next steps are determined by that statement. And that statement will deal with your mind so that you are able to then say to your mind, what next? So now that I've been diagnosed, what next? So the mind is the fundamental aspect in all this. And that the state of mind will help you to embrace whatever you are being told and have a clear roadmap as to where am I going.
Now, do you mind disclosing the cancers that you have? And I say that because sometimes people will say, I have cancer, and you will have physicians. I know a few, and they'll say, oh, that you'll beat that. And people would downplay something that someone else might be like, this might be my death sentence because I might have seen a family member die to it. So if you don't mind disclosing the cancers that you have or had and just your journey on, have they been cured or are you living with them?
Okay, so Kevin, the first one was the breast cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and we all know if it's stage 1, it's still manageable. So what I did, I removed the lump, and I didn't opt to go for radiation, but my oncologist advised me to go for radiation, but I opted out from that. So then after that, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and the type of leukemia is called CML, chronic myeloid leukemia. And immediately that diagnosis showed me something that I never thought I would reach at that stage of Now I had to deal with breast cancer. Now there's leukemia. But then those two cancers made me to take a step back and said, but what's happening with my life? Because I grew up with a whole lot of, I would say, challenges with my health. I was born with a defect heart and I was born with one kidney. And those things were only discovered when I was 18 and 28. At 28, that's when doctors discovered that I've got one kidney. So those are the cancers that I was diagnosed of. And to your point, when you are told that you have got this cancer, you can beat it, and you have got that other cancer, this is serious. I would say for people that are facing a diagnosis now, what I've seen is that people are different, we are unique. Hence, they're saying there's fingerprints. So one cancer that is very deemed to be very dangerous, it can kill some, it won't kill the other. So we must say to ourselves, we are unique. And how do I deal with this that is at hand now?
Yeah, true. How much of a plant-based diet has helped you in your diagnosis, in your dealing and battling cancer? You have people who never thought about eating plant-based, who switch immediately, then say, you know what, the food is helping me, but the food is the medicine sometimes, whether you had cancer or not. So talk about your journey on going plant-based, and are you 100% plant-based, or do you still like to have a bra on the weekend or maybe once a month?
I switched completely. So when I started this journey, I approached an old Chinese man in South Africa, and he just bluntly said to me, from today, you switch to plant-based and you will see that your life will change. So from one day I was eating all the meat, and coming from a school of thought that when you're a blood group O, you need to eat a lot of meat, and I loved my meat. But I stopped from one day to the other. I stopped completely, stopped dairy products completely, and my life changed. So firstly, that I noticed I had energy. Secondly, I lost about 32 kgs and my health improved. And as I was going through, I could see the changes in my body as well as in my mental being. So even though the leukemia is still there, I'm navigating through it, but my mind and my body is fighting with me to go through the cancer.
Can you tell the people, because a lot of people, they have some type of food addiction here in America. Myself, I battle with the sweets. Everything has sugar in it, and not to have it sometimes can get you in a bad mood. And then you try to switch to the good sweets, and people say, "Oh, all you do is eat these sweet fruits." It's like it's better to have this applesauce than it is to have this candy. Can you talk about, when you did change your diet, how did you fight the cravings? And are there any tips in the book that the people can go to? I want them to run to page like 57, if that's where it's at, and to how to fight those things.
Yes, I think the page that they can run to, it's the about my journey. So what happened, Kellen, is I sat down and had a meeting with myself. And I said, this is the plan that I'm carving for myself. Because when I was diagnosed, I immediately said to myself, this is not a physical battle. Because when you hear or listen to the doctors or people in the medical field, they said it's unusual for a person to be diagnosed with two primary cancers. Usually one cancer causes the other. So for me, it was two primary cancers. So what I said is, it means there is a deeper problem. And that deeper problem was, it means I was not aligned. So in the book, I called it PEMS, your physical being, your emotional being, your mental being, and your spiritual being. It means somewhere there is misalignment. So that was my starting point, to acknowledge that I've got things that I needed to deal with. And the food also, it was something that was part of it because it was on the physical. So when I started this, I used to finish the whole bar of chocolate. So I've got a sweet tooth also. That chocolate, I will eat it. But then I think also COVID helped, because now I was working from home. So working from home, staying by myself, it was easier because I didn't have any distraction. I didn't have people that will bring chocolate to the house or meat or a whole lot of nice things that I will deem I need. So that helped me. And I will say to people that want to embark on this, we don't have to be very strict with ourselves until we get depressed. The only thing is the awareness. And once you tell your mind, this is not what I need right now, your mind will work with you.
Amen. I'm telling myself that right now while I'm thinking about the chocolate I don't want to touch when I'm in the store next. Your book to me is a give back to the community, but I ask all my guests, what is a community give back that you're doing now or that you would like to do in the future?
I think it's what I'm doing now and what I want to. So it's in both ways. So my vision right now, Kenan, is to say to create awareness. If I can change one person's life, and by reading the book and getting the nuggets out of it and say, this is how I can deal with cancer, or this is how I can deal with diagnosis. Because yes, the book, it says eat your cancer away, but when you read the book, the nuggets that are there are not for being diagnosed with cancer only, but to live holistically if we used to prevent the diagnosis. And there's a chapter that I like the most is diagnosis a curse or a blessing? Because when you sit down and think about it, most people will take it as a curse. To say, I've been cursed because I've got diabetes, I'm cursed because I've got this type of disease, I've got cancer. But when you look at it, you'll say, this is a blessing, because my body is managing to say to me, slow down, there is a problem. So my vision, my long-term vision is to have this retreat center back in South Africa, where people can come and learn how to live holistically. And one thing that is fundamental in this is that everybody needs to be a CEO of themselves, CEO of your life. The doctor can guide you, but at the end of everything, you need to say, this is my life and this is how I want to live it. And in that way, you'll be able to embrace whatever is coming through, because it's not being imposed on you.
Hello everyone! Join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores via Ingram's Park. Don't miss this adventure.
My wife loves to say that, but there are people who will say, when I asked, what would you eat at the broth? And besides the chakalaka and the poppin' tomato sauce, in the book, do you have recipes that people can prep that they can say, there's enough of them, and maybe there'll be, cookbooks on top of cookbooks, or you make reference, but people want to know, what can they eat if they can't eat meat, if they can't eat the sugars? Because a lot of people's diets, I'm talking about myself, used to be a lot of that. So how many chapters are dedicated to letting people know what they can eat and how to prepare it?
In the book, I don't have recipes. I've got snippets of what I'm eating. But as you're asking now, and this is the question that I'm finding most people are asking me, so now what are we supposed to eat? And knowing from our cultures, we had pap, milk, pap, meat, chakalaka, and all that. And people ask you, what next? And I think then my next assignment will be to say, these are my recipes. And I've started doing that through my website. I will have like a blog there where people can go in and check those recipes. But you will find once you start exploring, there's a lot out there. And I will say I was amazed. For 2 weeks, I was in Bali. I came back over the weekend. And what was happening, every second restaurant, it's a vegan restaurant. And they play with this food. I love seaweed. Most people will say they eat seaweed with when they have fish or when they are having other meals. But they will make waffles with seaweed. And it's fresh seaweed because it's not dried seaweed. You won't have with sushi only, but they will make sushi, but there is no meat or fish within the sushi. But it's just to play around with everything that you have. And as I said, that will be my next assignment, to then say to people, this is what I'm eating, this is what I'm drinking. And with the sugar also, as you say, I stopped eating a lot of fruits because fruits have got sugar. So when I make smoothies, usually are vegetable smoothies. My juices, it's predominantly beetroot or the green juice, which is spinach, kale spinach, and green apples.
Well, you know, and we will have links in the description for the site. I can see, and there's not a lot of South African vegetarian food YouTubers or content creators. So you putting a camera, you know, put 2 cameras in your kitchen, small ones, you know, even our phones are these, we got to use these expensive things. You can show people how you do it, how you prepare it. And some people will watch for entertainment, but some people will watch for survival because they have no clue. And everybody around them is telling them, you're mad, man. Like, you know, keep eating the meat. You need the meat, but this is what you should do. And a lot of people, you know, even from America, will try to. We had this recently when we brought 46 people with the African Diaspora News Channel audience. There was one gentleman. He had he was paralyzed, and I don't want to call him a witch doctor, shaman, whatever you want to call people. He was sitting there and he was really in tune, trying to see if there was some healing, I believe. People will come all across the globe to get, you know, some local medicine, whether it's East Asian medicine, African medicine. Is there anything in the book that promotes that and might save somebody a trip or tell people, your prayers are better with Jesus, with God, than coming here and having someone blow something on you and saying something over your life that you don't even know what they're saying? Whichever way people want to go, I just want to get your opinion, because 1, you're in Africa, and 2, you are battling with these, you know, diseases, and you're looking good doing it, you know. So please let the people know if there's anything local. Is there any route that you found that can help them? And maybe you can send it to them in case they don't have the funds to come to South Africa. Sabona, South Africa. Molo.
No, thank you, Kiran. I think what we need to establish is that the herbs as they, and the herbs helps. And there's a lot. So what I will say is, when I embarked on this journey, what I came to appreciate is that the information is out. There's a lot of information. We're living in the era where there's big data. So information is there. The only thing is to have that discernment and say, which information am I taking in? So I've got moringa. In South Africa, we've got a lot of moringa. I use moringa. I use black seed oil. I use also, a lot of people, they will say it doesn't smell nice, but it is the castor oil. And this castor oil, it's not the castor oil that is from the factory, but it's directly from the old people that are back in rural areas. They take the seeds and then they extract the oil from there. But these things are out there. And what I would say, whether you're coming from America, whether you're coming from Africa, there's no bulletproof medicine that can help a person. What we need to do is to take our life back into our hands and be able to say, I'm here, I'm killing, I've got this problem. What is the information that is out there? What I can embrace? What is it that is helping me? Because I'm going back to the uniqueness of the people. So now with me, when I was laughing when you talk about, okay, you come to Jesus and do this and this, I've embraced, I will say, all religions. So when I started this, I said, I need to align my spiritual being. And by aligning my spiritual being, it meant that I needed to embrace all religions. And I'm finding that that is helping me to connect with God. Because whatever religion or whether you doing Sangoma stuff, everybody falls into to say, we've got one God, whether we call it source, whether we call it God, whether we call it whatever, but we acknowledge that we have got God. To me, it's God. So if you tap into your inner self, so there's a chapter in my book that is say tapping into your inner strength. Everybody has got an inner strength because we are connected to God. And God will direct you as to which herb are you supposed to take to solve your problem.
Gotcha. And First Corinthians, y'all, 9:19 talks about becoming all things to all men, all people. So, you know, when she says that, sometimes you'll hear people say, no, I have to believe this to be cured. This is the way for me. And if that's the way for you, whichever way that you choose, no one can tell you except what works for them. So this is what's working for Miss Viola, for those overcritical. Sometimes I can hear the overcritical and they're so hurt sometimes. They only want to hear what they think will work, but that's not really wisdom. What's wisdom is what's working for others. So you don't have to go through what they're going through, hopefully. And if you do, now you have some nuggets. And that's why we do shows like this. So please let the people know your website that will be up by the time this goes out. We'll have the links in the description. Let them know too. I believe you do the one-on-one coaching and consulting. Let them know what you do and what you don't do, because I can only assume when you're dealing with real life scenarios, people want you to be their mother more than their even, mentor or coach. So please give them the game before we wrap.
Okay, so my website is violamadhlope.com. So it's simple like that, my name, my surname.com. So it's viola.madhlophe.com. So that will be your one-stop shop. And when you log in, you'll see some of the things are still under construction, but then it's a beginning where you will go in. You can then register. You can have a discovery call with me, and I will ascertain how can I assist you. Because from being a transformational coach and hypnotherapy, depending on what your problem is, we can together carve the way forward. So I will be there to hold your hand. As I said, everybody needs to be a CEO. You can't sit there and say, Viola will tell me what to do, everything, and then I'll go do that. No, I will just be guiding you, but you need to take your life into your own hands. So people can go into the website and they will register. There will be my calendar there, and then they will be able to schedule a 30-minute call. And from there, we can ascertain how I can help them.
Well, you guys have gotten the game. Make sure you go to the website, check out the book. If it's not available for whatever reasons, I was looking on a VPN at the time, and it was like, oh, it's not available in this country, so I had to switch over. Make sure you hit her on her website. I'm sure there's a way to send an ebook, maybe even an audio book coming out. All she has to do is just write these books and make these YouTubes. That's what I'm thinking. Books and YouTube, so that people have the information. I thank you guys for following the game to the end. Most of you are listeners, but I want you to go over to YouTube if you would, make a comment, give a like, but most importantly, no matter how you experience this podcast, share it with somebody. It will change their life. You guys be blessed.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed bio-socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.
Hey, what's going on, fam? This is Jay Cameron inviting you to join us in Ethiopia next March 2025. And this is going to be an iconic trip that you don't want to miss, a trip of a lifetime. We're going to be visiting Addis Ababa, Gondor, Lalibela. You'll have a chance to taste the amazing Ethiopian food. You'll also have a chance to visit the Rastafarian community. You'll get the history, you'll get the fashion, you'll have an opportunity to shop. It's going to be a trip, an experience of a lifetime. So make sure you sign up to join us in Ethiopia, March 2025.